Alrighty. Welcome to this week's video on my Yoga Odyssey. It's class 11, week 6. It's pretty exciting. And things have progressed really well. I've been doing more and more yoga. Obviously, doing more practices on my own. And got to do some formal work on balances today. Really want to get into some handstand stuff. I'm going to work up to that gradually. I had some interesting realizations. Sometimes I suddenly realize something and I feel like a bonehead. I used to do many of my asanas in ways that would challenge me. And, really getting a workout out of my power yoga. That's primarily what I was doing, was power yoga. And then I started teachers training, and I started dialing everything back. And then I dialed everything back even more. So I thought I was poised for advanced yoga positions, I was just gonna work on my core strength a little more, and handstands, here I come. And I realized I wasn't doing push-ups correctly. And I've been doing push-ups for a really long time. And I wasn't doing them in a way that was as beneficial as they could have been. So pretty much my mountain forward fold, flat back, cobra, up dog, down dog, high plank, low plank, chair, chair with twist, crescent, warrior 1, warrior 2, now crow, they've all changed. They've all changed. A lot. Maybe if I saw myself doing them then and then now, I wouldn't, it might not be so obvious that they've changed. But they have. I thought, let's just say I had reason to believe that I had injuries in both shoulders from foolishness. And I also thought I had an injury in my back from more foolishness on a trip to the mountains. And despite going to a chiropractor, despite massage therapy, despite physical therapy, despite seeing my primary care physician, it gets to the point where he was like, you got to go see an orthopedist. And I didn't go because the copay is wicked high. And I felt like there was something that I could do before I went to see an orthopedist. And it turns out I was doing a lot of my asanas with a little bit too much intent. I was trying to get more out of them than, how do I say this? It's like using a tiny hammer. If you have a tiny hammer that you're going to drive brad nails with, and then you need to build a house, you don't use the little hammer. You don't just swing the little hammer harder. You get a framing hammer, and you go build a house, right? If you have a little car and you're going to pick up a bunch of furniture, you don't just stick all the furniture in the little car and hope for the best. You get a big vehicle, right? You get a moving van, or you borrow your friend's truck or whatever. I don't know if these analogies are working yet. My point is, I was trying to get stuff out of some of these yoga poses that you just don't need to try to get out of them. I was using my own lessons. I was denying myself the nature of the asanas, and I was trying to make them more. And I've dialed everything back, and my injuries have gone away. My pains and difficulties. I have a little bit of a shoulder thing that's kind of lingering, but I suspect that that's going to go too. The other one's gone. The back thing is gone, and that plagued me for a year. It plagued me from August to August, and then some. And almost without I mean, it would ease up just a few days a week. They're all gone. I'm building more functional body structures, whether it's the muscles and the tendons and the ligaments and the bones, all of those things, right? My circulation, blood pressure, my heart, my breathing, my whole body as a mechanism is getting stronger and more fit, and I'm not having all of these difficulties. So I was wondering to myself, this is one of the foolishnesses. I was doing something the other day, and I was thinking, wow, you know, my Warrior 2s, I used to bend my, I used to make them so long that I could make my front leg, my quadricep, bent at a 90-degree angle, right at the knee, like really push into that Warrior 2, really work those quads. I was causing all kinds of other pains in my body. So my Warrior 2, my Warrior 1, a lot of my poses are now a little shallower. I don't have severe bend in the knee. And I was thinking, so what do you do? Well, now you go to more intense poses. Now you start looking at some of your inversions and balances and binds, and you start, doing more Warrior 3 instead of Warrior 2. Airplane, half moon, or you do the Warrior 2 longer. You do a longer practice. 45 minutes, an hour, 75 minutes is not enough. Do the same pose, because that pose is proper body alignment for health. Do it more. Don't try to put a more intense pose in there. Like, don't change Warrior 2 to make it feel like you're working more. Instead, do more of them. So that was funny. Yeah. As I say it out loud, I feel like it doesn't hit the same way as when it first dawned on me. Maybe it's not as funny as I thought it was. So that's kind of where my yoga is now. I have to start doing more, longer, to get everything out of it that I want to get out of it. Another thing that happened this week is I went into my journal, my yoga journal from this school, from this whole teacher training, and I was reading the first entries. And I realized, well, let me go a different way. I've felt less thrilled about jumping in the truck and driving an hour to class on Wednesdays and Fridays. And I was doing a little bit of housekeeping as to why that might be. I enjoy class when I'm there, but getting there, getting myself out of this building has been like, ugh. So I went back into my notes and just was reading through my notebook, and I realized I was taking meticulous notes, more like a log entry. I was noting the times I got up, times I left the house, the foods I ate, the foods I brought with me for lunch, if I felt hungry or not, if I had certain food cravings, if I had enough water. I was writing reflections on the homework. A lot of times the homework consists of watching videos that cover details of postures, and then you go to class and you talk about those postures a whole bunch. So the videos can give you a little bit more of a foundation from which you can speak, in addition to your own practice in those postures. And coming forward, I've gotten a little bit lazy. I'm still doing the homework. I'm still doing all the stuff. I'm not eating quite as well. I'm not bringing as much food with me. I'm not documenting food. I'm not handling my business. I've gotten lax in my discipline. And I think that has impaired my motivation, if that works. Impaired motivation. You can bring awareness to a part of your body. You can kind of try to have a warm-up like my last video, before I go up that fantastic hill at Borderland State Park. You need to get in the zone, so to speak. Or at least be aware that there's a zone that you could go get into. And you're going to do that for everything. Well, I mean, you don't have to. You don't have to do anything, right? You can just lay on the road and sizzle. But that whole idea of getting the mind engaged in something you're about to do is a big part of manifesting the life you want to live. The life I want to live, anyway. And I was really excited to find that. To discover that little piece that I lost. So I picked up that, I went back to those habits. And I enjoyed my drive in today. And I ate like a pig. I ate so much food. So much food. And yeah, my point is, it takes discipline to live the life that you want to live. Right now, I want to go to yoga school full-time to become a teacher, and I want to be a yoga teacher full-time. And I, by the benefit of people who support and love me, I have the opportunity to do that. Like, I'm literally doing exactly what I want to do. If, you know, I do make furniture. That is still a thing. I can let that fall by the wayside as much as I need to do this other thing. That has been communicated in explicit terms when I've discussed the long-term implications of this plan with my wife. If I want to spend 7 days a week prepping foods and meals and making sure that laundry's done and doing yoga on my own and practicing postures and watching videos about things and reading yoga books, I can do that. That's amazing. It's freaking amazing that I have this possibility right now, that I have this opportunity. And I mean to remember that and maintain my discipline in following through, not just going to class, but training my mind and my body to have the discipline and the know-how to be the best possible yoga teacher that I can be. Instead of relaxing into this space, it's an active posture. It's an active posture where all of my muscles need to be engaged for me to be able to hold this posture in the best, most helpful, most healthy possible way. And I'm fixing to do that. So, thanks for coming along for the journey. We'll see what happens Friday. Alrighty, this is me signing off.